welcome to the January 30th Victim Compensation Board meeting. Would you please call the roll?
Chairperson Pearson?
Here.
Member Tubbs?
Here.
Member Shavaro?
Okay, everyone, if you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So let's go to item 1. It's approval of the minutes of the December 12, 2019 board meeting.
Move approval.
Okay, is there a second? I second that motion. Any discussion?
Should I recuse myself since I wasn't here December 12th?
No, we've got 2.
I'm saying should
we're
I
good.
abstain from voting?
Yeah,
Okay.
please do, yeah. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that the December 12, 2019 board meeting minutes be adopted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion to approve the minutes passes. Let's go to item 2. Because of changes in the board membership in 2019, there were board minutes from previous meetings that were not approved, so we are going to be taking care of those today. Do I have a motion to approve the June 27, 2019 board meeting minutes? I second that motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, it's been moved and seconded that the June 27, 2019 board meeting minutes be adopted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion to approve the minute passes. Let's go to item 3. And again, this is one of those prior board meetings minutes that we need to approve. Do I have a motion to approve the October 17, 2019 board meeting minutes?
Move approval.
I second that motion. No discussion. It's been moved and seconded that the October 17, 2019 board meeting minutes be adopted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion to approve the minutes passes. Okay, let's go to item 4. And this is the public comment on items not on the agenda. And this is the opportunity for the public to make comments to us, so you can come forward, state your name for the record, but I just want to caution you that the board members cannot engage in a full discussion back and forth with the commenter, because these are items not on the agenda, but we are more than happy to hear whatever you have to say. It's my understanding that there is someone here from the public who wants to come up and speak. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
If you can please state your name for the
Yes,
record.
my name is Linda Siegel, and I'd like to wish everyone here a really happy new year. It's the first hearing of the year. I worked with Jerry Brown in 1981 as a minor appointee, and he sent me out to find non-tax revenues for child abuse victims who were unserved with their mental health benefits. And so I went out and did this, and I found the Victim Compensation Fund. I've been involved with the fund for the past 40 years, and I'm a trained Ernst & Young analyst. From the Brown administration, I knew Gray Davis and became one of his advisors on the Victim Comp program. I worked closely with the program during the Davis administration, as well as working with him when he was a state controller. And if you've looked at the figures, you know that about $120 million a year was paid out from his administration, and that is now down to $55 million today. You'll hear a lot of reasons about why that occurs, like health benefits are more available today, but actually it's that fewer victims are being reached. I led a loosely knit group of a statewide organization called the Coalition of Crime Victim Services, which authored, among other bills, AB 2435 by Hannah Beth Jackson. This was chaptered and led to Eileen Adams' Comprehensive Report on Victim Services. There were 2 important things that haven't really happened yet. One was a Crime Victims Trust Fund in which surpluses could be kept. This program has a long history of being unable to forecast spending. Of course it can't. I mean, you can't predict victimization. You can't predict group events. You can't predict any of that. And so it has a very up and down kind of a manner of operating, and it's very difficult to fund. The second thing was a recommendation to create a new Department of Crime Victim Services to handle both the compensation and grants, which are currently handled by OES. And although there's been some progress made on this, it's been a long time since 90 or whenever we pass that statute. And I think that you would find that if these services and grants were held under one entity, it would be a lot easier for funding to go back and forth depending on what happens with crime victims. I'm concerned about the governor's general fund appropriation for the COMP program. We in the field have always been very proud of being a non-tax supported program where fines and penalties and federal funds fund 100% of the program. And there have been many years of surpluses when the legislature has transferred much of the excess funding to the general fund. So I suppose you can regard this as paying back some of that loan. It used to be called a loan when the legislature took it. Which was done more formally in preceding decades. In my discussion with a legislative analyst about this matter, I found that she believed that this was due to fines and penalties dropping because of more payment plans being put into effect and more people being let off probation without paying their fines and penalties. And I don't believe that that is the largest part of the fines and penalties that goes to you. I think that drunk driving fees and traffic violation fees and perhaps now texting and phone violation fees are the bulk of the fund that comes to you, along with the 60% federal government share, which you lose if you drop your payments. Your payments to victims have to be up for that to keep rising, and so that's a tricky kind of a calculation. I think that Governor Newsom is a very inclusive governor, and I think he would want to see all victims served. I think he would want to see homeless victims served, non-English speaking victims, those from other countries, all served if they're crime victims. And this is a very difficult population to reach. Although you've put in place the crime victim trauma centers, which I also was there from the beginning for those, I'm very old, they don't extend to suburban and rural areas. And last year I tried to help someone write a grant for a rural area, and it was in fact Auburn, California, which is not that rural. And it was very difficult to fit within the parameters of the funds, so we gave up for the time being until those parameters can be expanded. I'd also hope to see providers and independent advocates included in the conversation. In the past, they have not been included because the people here have kind of felt that they took money out of the fund and therefore they were biased. But I think if you took everyone in this room out of the fund, you would be a very lonely board if all the people paid by the fund left the room. Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing about your progress with all of these things.
Thank you for showing up today and sharing your comments with us. And please, we encourage you to continue to share your thoughts and comments and reach out to Linda Gledhill, who is our interim executive officer, and
It would be very
have
helpful.
discussions with her directly.
It would be very helpful if we could have a copy of the legislative report and the executive director's report, and if that were publicly kind of available so we knew where things were going. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on to item 5, the executive officer statement. This is our first meeting with Linda Gledhill, who's, as of December 31st, is the interim executive officer of the board. So looking forward to your report today, Linda.
Thank you, Holly. Madam Chair and members, thank you for having me here as my first meeting on the board. I just want to say I've been taking the last few weeks to meet with everyone in the organization and talk to them about the work that they do and roll up our sleeves. I just want to tell all of you how truly impressed I am with the employees here and their commitment to the work of serving the victims of crime in the state of California. It is a great honor to be here to serve alongside them. And I look forward to closely working with you and all of the staff as we continue our mission to enhance services and outreach to victims of crime in California. So just a couple updates from me. As you know, the governor's budget was released earlier this month, and the administration is continuing its effort to consolidate victims programs operated by Cal VCB and the Governor's Office of Emergency Services, but that plan is on pause for right now. So in the meantime, we are continuing to work on our strategic planning with Cal OES. We have a joint strategic plan that was finalized last fall, and there are many efforts that continue to be underway with Cal OES, including one that we're starting here, which is a redesign of the Cal VCB website to be a centralized platform for victim services in the state of California, and a public awareness and education campaign to share information about Cal VCB's new online portal. This is a comprehensive outreach campaign that is funded by a grant from Cal OES. And additionally, I wanted to mention that earlier this month, Cal VCB posted a notice of funds available for trauma recovery centers. Since 2013, Cal VCB is funding 14 trauma recovery centers throughout the state of California, and these provide trauma-informed mental health treatment and case management to underserved crime victims throughout the state. And we're very proud of this program. The deadline for the grant application is February 7th, so we look to have an update for you at a future board meeting on that.
Are there any questions or comments on the executive officer statements?
No.
None? Okay. Let's move to item 6, please. This is the contract update, and it will also be presented by Linda Gledhill. If you could.
Yes, thank you. So in your binder, you'll see these are updates that are informational only for you. The first two are continuing IT contracts that we will be using for Microsoft.NET services and Microsoft Azure services to help fund the online portal. And finally, the last one is a expanded amount for a previously approved contract, again, for utilizing Microsoft.NET technologies. This is to allow us to continue to do update and maintenance on our online platform.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? None? Okay. Let's move to item 7, please. This is the legislative update that will be presented by Acting Chief Counsel Jenny Wong.
Good morning. I would like to provide you with an update on SB 417. SB 417 appropriates $136,780 from the general fund to pay the erroneous conviction claim approved by California Victim Compensation Board for Moonshadow Naomi Taggart. On January 21st, SB 417 passed out of the Senate Appropriations Committee. On January 27th, the bill passed off the Senate floor and was ordered to the Assembly. And that's all I have.
Questions? None? Let's move to item 8. This is the claim of Lionel Omar Rubalcaba, and this is a Penal Code Section 4900 claim, and I hope I pronounced the last name correctly. Yay, good. Okay. And this claim will be presented by, again, Acting Chief Counsel Jenny Wong, please, if you could please brief us on this item, please. Yes.
On December 12, 2019, Lionel Omar Rubalcaba submitted an application for compensation as an erroneously convicted person pursuant to Penal Code Section 4900. The application was based upon Rubalcaba's 17 years imprisonment for a 2003 conviction for attempted murder, which was vacated in April 2019, after the prosecution conceded it no longer had confidence in the jury's guilty verdict. Citing the victim's recent admission that he was uncertain of the culprit's identity, as well as Rubalcaba's strong alibi evidence that he was in a different city 46 miles away when the crime occurred, in addition to the absence of any incriminating physical evidence, the prosecution joined Rubalcaba's motion for a finding of factual innocence, which was granted November 18, 2019. Accordingly, the proposed decision recommends, in accordance with the automatic compensation provision of Penal Code Section 4902, that the legislature appropriate $874,440 as payment to Rubalcaba, representing $140 for each of the 6,246 days that he was wrongfully imprisoned.
It's my understanding that your attorney, Mr. Rubalcaba, Laura, is it Laura Bazelin, Did I torture that, or is that right? Laura Bazelon from the University of San Francisco School of Law's Criminal and Juvenile Justice Clinic is here and would like to address the board?
I don't think she's here.
She's not here? None? Okay. Is there anyone from the public that would like to come forward and address this item, speak to this item? Yeah.
I was going to call you your chairperson. My name's Paige Caneb. I'm an attorney from the Northern California Innocence Project. I had the great honor of representing Mr. Rubalcava through his habeas proceedings and the finding of factual innocence, and we'd just like to thank the board for this decision and recognizing Mr. Rubalcava's innocence and the compensating him for that time he served wrongfully convicted.
Thank you for doing such a great job representing him, bringing him through all the way to this point, although I know you're not the only one that was involved in this, but thank you anyway. Okay.
Great honor. Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? None? It's been moved and seconded that staff's proposed decision to grant Rubalcava's application for compensation as an erroneously convicted person and that the legislature appropriate $874,440 be approved. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion to approve the application for erroneous compensation passes. Okay, let's move on to the next item. This is under the Victim Compensation Program. This is a request by staff for authority to begin the rulemaking process for the California Code of Regulations, Title II, Section 649.32.1. And again, Acting Chief Counsel Jenny Wong, could you present on this item?
Yes. On October 8th, 2019, Governor Brown signed AB 629, which amended statutes governing CalFECB to include compensation equal to the loss of income or support that a victim incurs as a direct result of the victim's deprivation of liberty during the crime of human trafficking. The bill requires the board to adopt regulations by July 1st, 2020 that allow it to rely on evidence other than official employment documentation in considering and approving an application for such compensation. Staff proposes the adoption of the proposed regulation, Title II, Section 649.32.1, to comply with the legislative mandate imposed by AB 629. The proposed regulation clarifies the evidence that may be submitted in order to file a claim with the board for the loss of income or support. California Victim Compensation Board has had conversations with stakeholders on the proposed regulations, received input, and received a letter of support from the organizations Bet Tzedek and the Coalition to Abolish Slavery and Trafficking. It is requested that the board authorize staff to begin the rulemaking process with this proposed regulatory change. This includes a public comment period, final approval by the board, and submission to the Office of Administrative Law.
Thank you, Jenny. Is there anyone who would like to address the board on this item? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Seeing no discussion, it's been moved and seconded to give staff the authority to begin the regular rulemaking process for Title II, Section 649.32.1 of the California Code of Regulations. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion authorized staff to begin the rulemaking process passes. Okay. And now the board will convene into closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 11126, Subdivision C3, to discuss numbers 1 through 39 of the Victim Compensation Program. board is reconvening into open session pursuant to Government Code Section 11126, subdivision C3. Do I have a motion for numbers 1 through 39 of the Victims' Compensation Program? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that staff's recommendations for numbers 1 through 39 of the Victims' Compensation Program be adopted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. Thank you very much. And if is there any other business that needs to come before the board? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned, and the next meeting is scheduled to occur on February 20th. See you next time. Thank you.